There is an expiration date on some relationships. Now, you can't see it. It's not like a milk carton where it's stamped on the top. It only takes a little snap, a little something for that psycho ex-girlfriend to come out of people. And that could be a man or a woman that it's coming out of. I'm just calling that PEG, psycho ex-girlfriend. But you knew it was there all along. You knew the possibility for a person to snap was there, and you overlooked it. You probably won't do that again, will you? Remember, the psycho ex-girlfriend can be a woman or a man. Starting the hot chocolate with chopsticks using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your hot chocolate. At the molecular level, good morning, welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, hot chocolate. Nice, just what I needed today. Just going a little bit easier on the caffeine these days, but that's very satisfying. Yesterday, I actually had chicken bone broth. I was starting the chicken bone broth with chopsticks yesterday, and that was actually pretty good. A great tweet came in. Someone alerted me of a tweet. I can't see anything on Twitter, only because I am banned from Twitter. But this was somebody that had sent this to me, and this is a woman telling other women how to vet men. Interesting. It's interesting. And it's called 6 Things to Look For When Vetting a Man. Since I am talking about vetting women often, I wouldn't say this is the dynamic equivalent, because there is no such thing as dynamic equivalence when it comes to men and women. Well, oh yeah? Well, this is what women should look for. Number 1, what are his values? What does he live for? What would he fight for? What would he die for? What is his code of ethics? That's a woman talking to another woman about men. Number 2, is he of strong character? Now, these are just sweeping generalities. Nothing specific here. Is he of strong character? Is he a man of his word? Do his actions mirror his promises? How does he treat those that can offer him nothing? How does he treat the elderly, children? How does he handle the stress or situations beyond his control? Well, my first thing is that she says there's 6 things. Well, each one of these things contains at least 5 things. So let's just call this 30 ways to vet a man. Number 3. Maybe she meant 6 paragraphs. But I'll take her seriously. I know what she's trying to do. But I believe what people do, not what they say. Period. Does he have integrity? Do you have faith that if he knew no one was looking, he'd still do the right thing? If everyone is looking, will he be a man of his convictions or cower? Does he take charge and responsibility for the outcome of his decision-making? Pretty standard things, I think, to vet a human being, period. Just these are lessons on just how to be a virtuous human being. 4, do his religious beliefs align enough with yours? Important if building a family and instilling those beliefs into your children. 5. Okay, now it's down to just one sentence per number. 5. Are your visions of family aligned and the specific roles and expectations of each of you would have within it? And then 6. Okay, now we're back to several questions again. Can you laugh together? Can you allow yourself to be vulnerable with him? Do you trust him to lead in all things? Would you be willing to follow his lead even if you disagreed with him? All right, so literally she asked 30 questions, but she called it 6. What does that tell you right from the start? I'm not discounting what she says, but come on. And then she ends with this. Vetting isn't bulletproof, but it is essential in selecting to whom you will commit. The traits outlined above are critical in ascertaining compatibility. Aligned in taste in music and hobbies makes for a good first date. Aligned values and principles make for a good lifetime. And when I look at the picture of the person, if it truly is them, they do look like an attractive woman. Now there's the guys that are going to say, what a woman wants is looks, money, and status. You could take those 30 things and throw them away. If the guy's not good looking, if he doesn't have money, and if he is not an Indian chief, forget all those things. Women want the bad boys. I think she's overlooking a lot of stuff here. She has a romanticized version. I can guarantee you that she has been with some bad boys, and then after she's been with the bad boys, this is what she's looking for. This sounds like a young woman trying to act like an older woman, my opinion. Do not kid yourself. There was one woman I knew who told me, she says, you're dangerous. I said, oh really? She goes, that's what I like about you. I thought, okay, that's interesting. Very interesting. And there's a ton of nice guys out here. What she just described was a nice guy. A guy who's harmless. A guy who's a butter knife. Who doesn't have an edge. But all of her experiences, assuming that she is a virtuous, godly woman, all her experiences were not with men like this. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. They were with the edgy guys. They were with the guys that were just a little bit of a bad boy. You know that to be true. So do I trust a woman when she talks about vetting a man? Not at all. Literally believe what she does, not what she says. This is good for an older woman. Give me a woman 60 and up, maybe. This is the kind of stuff she might be teaching. This is the kind of stuff that maybe a father might be teaching a daughter. A young, attractive woman teaching this to other women? I don't believe a single word of it. She started out wrong right from the get. She said 6 things. She mentioned 30 things. There's all this nonsense about just be yourself. I knew a woman who just said, I like big teddy bear types. Really? The harmless teddy bear types you're talking about? You mean the guy that can't defend you if shit went down in the parking lot? You mean that guy? Wait till that teddy bear gets an erection, and then we'll see how much you like him. The women who say that have had their share of bad boys and edgy boys, and they know it if they're honest. But I haven't yet found a forum where women are being honest, not only with each other, but with men. There might be fat acceptance with men, but female nature doesn't change because society is accepting or more accepting of mediocrity, dad bods. They will naturally gravitate to the strong and able. Always is, always will, always has been. It's never going to change. Just because you pound the same advertising over and over and over again, that does not change a person's nature. Sorry. All the fat male mannequins in the world aren't going to make women starting to want fat men. It's not going to happen. You can put all the weak men in commercials all you want. You can, commercials, you hear about commercial programming. It is programming. Commercials are trying to tell you what life should be like, but it's not a reflection of what life really is. You would think by watching commercials you have a gay couple on that side of the house and then your other neighbors are an interracial couple. That's just normal, right? That's what commercials would have you believe. It's not true. Magazines, the same thing. Magazines are suicidal. They've worked really hard at killing themselves. There's not a single magazine that I can pick up now as just a normal human being and go, oh, that's normal. When I go to an Italian restaurant for the first time, I always order just spaghetti and meatballs. That's all I order, with bread and a simple side salad. and at the end, like an espresso or a cappuccino. That is it. The basics, the absolute basics. If they can't get the basics right, if the sauce isn't on point, there will not be a second visit. One place, I've had everything on the menu, but I keep going back to spaghetti and meatballs. A little side salad, a little bit of bread, a glass of red wine, and then I end it with a cappuccino or espresso because it is so good. I don't even want anything else on the menu. Can you agree with that? Again, I'm seeing Toyota Tundras on sale, for sale on Craigslist with over 300,000 miles. Just an observation. I'm not going to buy a car with 300,000 miles. The one I looked at yesterday, I didn't look at it, I just spotted it on Craigslist. 344,000 miles. That must be a pretty good engine. One guy said to me, well, all engines will last that long if you take care of them. I'm not so sure about that. There is something to be said about Toyotas and Hondas and their longevity. Let's get real. Let's get real for once. Would you ever use a tissue that another man sneezed into? Yes or no? And why not? No, you wouldn't? But you don't think the background of the woman you're dating is important? Just wondering. Don't be offended. Don't worry about me. Okay. Next topic, please. There will be another lockdown. There's been a second wave of vampirism. The governor is now calling for Kevlar neck tubes to be worn in all public places. Garlic vaccines will be available soon to the elderly and then everyone else after that. Some are saying that the Kevlar neck tubes are not effective against vampires and they refuse to wear them. There's doubters everywhere. You know that? The Kevlar neck tubes are approved. They're proven to protect against the vampires. I don't know. I was on a podcast. I'll put a link for it down below. The podcast is called Man Up with Jacob Wohl, episode 54. And he interviews me about the alternatives to marriage that I talked about last week. And then he talks about super predators. Interesting podcast. I'll put a link for it down below. Make sure to sign up for his podcast and get those episodes. Isn't it interesting how a governor of a state can be a great draw for that state or its biggest repellent? How is the governor of your state where you live? Is he drawing people in, or are people on their way out? Is there a mass exodus? The last year kind of showed us what governors are made of. And last but not least, everything is forgivable. Everything. But not everything is forgettable. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you next week on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.